Bkfc Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship founder and president Dave Feldman is doing big things. Since last we talked, there's so much things that are going on, so much that will be going on. First thing I want to discuss, I got the information here. On Friday, June 24th, Bkfc returns to the Hard Rock live at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino near Fort Lauderdale. And it's going to be for the first time champ versus champ matchup between Elvis Brito and Luis Palomino. It's going to be a huge event. Always good to see Bkfc in South Florida. What can you first of all tell us about this big event returning to Hard Rock Live?
Just like you said, Jim, man, it's going to be a great event. It's the first champ versus champ match that we've ever had. Luis Palomino is going to move up from its 155-pound and fight at 165-pound to try to claim that championship. The co-main event is Jimmy Rivera, former UFC contender, top 10 contender. Jimmy Rivera will fight local 3-0 bare-knuckle fighter Howard Davis on the card. Yuli Diaz will be fighting Francisco Ricci, another South Florida guy. Both of those guys are going to fight for the interim 175-pound championship. And we just got a ton of great undercard matches on that card. It's going to be tremendous. The last time that we did a show at the Hard Rock Casino, we had the highest grossing ticket sales for any combat sporting event there in history. So we're looking at doing the same thing this time. Again, June 24th, Friday night, the Hard Rock Casino is going to be an unbelievable event.
Yeah, it's a great venue for such an event, too. Really, they do a really nice job there. Well, Dave, you have some South Florida ties, obviously. How did you find the Hard Rock Live to do your shows? Because it's been a nice fit for you and your company.
Yeah, you know, there's a team down there with my guy Elvis Crespo and Gladys Rosa. They do a lot of stuff down there at the Hard Rock, and I was able to bring them onto the team, and they helped me secure a deal with the Hard Rock, and now we have a deal with Hard Rock International, so we're going to be able to do shows at all the different Hard Rocks all over the country and all over the world. So it turned out really well. You know, it's like growing with anybody. They get to know us, we get to know them, and now they see what we can deliver, and we obviously know what they can deliver. So it's going to be a win-win relationship for both of us.
And that win-win, what do you like, Dave, about South Florida? Such a big boxing history here in South Florida, too, and this is bare-knuckle fighting. But what do you like about South Florida, and what do you like so far about the fans and the interest that Bkfc has provided South Florida so far?
Well, you know what it is? It's kind of like the motherland, if you will, for underground bare-knuckle fighting. And I think that's why we're doing such good numbers in the stands and, you know, with ticket sales and things like that. Because, you know, people are, you know, with Kimbo Slice, Dada 5000, the guys like that did this thing in the underground and in the backyards and you know, everywhere else, kind of put bare-knuckle on the map years ago. Not in a legal sanctioned way, but in the way that they knew how to do it back then. And they did a great job of doing that. And now I think because there was some kind of fan base down there, the South Florida fans are really attaching to this. And our team puts on a great production, puts on great matches, and puts on a great show. And those fighters go in and they really fight their butts off, man. And they give the fans every penny worth. So, you know, that's another win-win, right? The fans come, they spend their money, they help us out, and we're giving them back a great product. And it's just growing. It's growing immensely. I mean, we had the June 24th fight, and then our next fight is actually our first true international one where we go over the pond, which will be in London, July 16th at the Wembley Arena. I mean, you know, we started actually today, Jim, just so you know, today is our 4-year anniversary. 4 years ago today, we did the first bare-knuckle fighting championship event in an ice skating rink in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And now in another month and a half, we're going to be doing the Wembley Arena in London. It's just crazy where this thing grew to.
From an ice hockey rink to Wembley, that's amazing in itself. You see how much work you and your team have done to get it to grow there. And just so many different things that were sent to me too, that you guys will be going to the Netherlands as well. I also believe Mexico, August 27th. You guys really are taking this international now. What was that springboard to get it? Okay, now we're going from the ice skating center. Now we're going to big events in the United States. Now we're going international. What took it to get to that level?
You know, it's just a lot of hard work, man. I mean, just putting the pedal to the metal, not hearing no, you know, making people understand what this was, kind of just kept throwing it at people so they got to know what this really was. You know, perception of this thing at the beginning was everybody thought it was a backyard street fight or it was a bar fight. And to let them know that it was a well-organized event with well-crafted and well-schooled and veteran athletes and new athletes, but very experienced combat sports athletes from all walks of combat sports, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, and MMA. You know, it just kept putting it in their face. And now the fan base is growing. You know, 4 years ago today was the first ever legally sanctioned bare-knuckle fighting event in the world history. Today, there's over 20 different bare-knuckle promotions around the world right now, and in 12 different countries. So, I mean, the whole sport in itself grew, and bare-knuckle fighting championship is lucky enough to lead the way in that, you know, in that growth. And, you know, we're doing fantastic. The fighters are doing good. The team's doing great. And, you know, I just couldn't really ask for anything more.
Dave, during that time, was there one big event or one big fighter or something that happened that really helped get it to that next level?
I think it was, you know, there was a couple little milestones. The first one was when we did Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov, former world champion, versus UFC star and Conor McGregor's, you know, best friend. They fought, and that put a lot of more mainstream acceptance into it. And then we did the Knucklemania event when we signed Paige VanZant and had her fight. And then we signed Mike Perry and Chad Mendez and had them fight on a card. So getting these bigger guys and just doing these consistent shows. You know, we started with 3 shows the first year, 5 shows the second year, up to we're going to do 22 shows this year in 2022, and we'll do almost 40 shows next year in 2023. So just keeping the consistent product out there and letting everybody watch it, but really putting these big names in that people go the wow factors. And we actually have a wow factor we're going to announce on Monday for our London show. A super fight is going to be. And you know, I can't wait. I love announcing these things because I always get like, wow, how did they do that? I love when people go, how did they do that? And we just find a way to, you know, put our head down and just keep grinding and get it done. So, you know, it's great.
Oh, you guys are grinding. And it's interesting because you mentioned like when Kimbo Slice was fighting, and then that went viral on YouTube when they were unsanctioned fights. And all of a sudden you see someone, even a Jorge Masvidal also did very well there. And I remember back in the day, Dave, when before UFC became mainstream, that when Senator McCain, not happy with it, if you remember that, and they were like, this is barbaric, no, no, no. And then UFC made it mainstream. Yep. Did you take a lesson from that at all with bare knuckle fighting? Not that it was so bad when it was unsanctioned, but just said, hey, you know what? If we can sanction this and still make it very good, competitive, and keeps the rules, get rules in there, that we could take this and do what UFC did?
Yeah, well, Jim, you know, the one thing that we pride ourselves on and like put exclamation points on is we run toward regulation. We're not running away from it. We're trying to get regulated. We're trying to be overseen by these different commissions. We're doing everything we can to do that because we want to do the right thing. Funny thing you mentioned about John McCain is we did our first fight was at a native casino in Arizona where he was the senator, and we had it did crazy numbers, but he called the casino the day before to try to shut it down, and they said no, we're going ahead with the event. So we did it, and it worked out well. And then he put a lot of messages out that he was going to shut bare knuckle down like he did with UFC. And then we were like, you know, as my son said in one of these videos, we're like, wow, now we know we have something, because if he's going after it, we know we have something that means something. So it worked out well. And like I said, we just keep running toward regulation. We're opening up a lot of new states and a lot of new countries. And I really think in 3 to 5 years, we're a player for the number 1, number 2 spot in all combat sports.
This growth has been amazing. And we mentioned some of the events, obviously the big event coming up June 24th in South Florida at Hard Rock Live. You mentioned Howard Davis, and I'm wondering, Dave, is that from the famous Howard Davis family, the former boxer family?
It's actually not. I thought it was. I think he is a relative, but I thought it was his son, but it's not. But he's I think he is related to them in some way. But you know, I don't know the relation.
Yeah.
But this
the only reason I asked that too, Dave, because I know they were down here too. Yeah. I did know they were down in South Florida, so that's when I heard the name. I figured I'd ask you that. And another name you mentioned is Miami's own Yuli Monster Diaz, who, if I'm not mistaken, set the Guinness Book of World Records with the fastest knockout ever, and that was on one of your shows. What was that like?
It was crazy, man. He jumped right off the line, hit the guy. The guy went out of there. Ref stopped the fight. 3 seconds. Fastest knockout in combat sports history. It happened in Miami. It was crazy, man. It was actually during the pandemic where we were allowed to we did a fight. Everybody was supposed to be masked up, and they ended up taking their masks off. But at the end of the day, man, it was such a great event, and we made combat sports history that night. We do a lot of things that people think we can't do, and we just keep pushing forward, and that's why this sport's growing so much. But guys like Yuli, who does so much for the community, great guy, has a huge fan base down there. It's great to have him. This will be his second chance at the championship. Last time he got knocked out by Thiago Alves after dropping him first. So he's going to have a chance at redemption here against Francisco Ricky, who is another South Florida guy. So it's just going to be a great night. And Jimmy Rivera is really touted as one of the top, five guys in his weight division in the UFC when he was fighting there. And he came over here to give him a different opportunity. And we've got Britain Hart. Britain Hart, who she's fighting again. She's fighting one of our early stars. Beck Rawlings is from Australia. She's coming over again. She's going to fight Britain Hart. It's just a tremendous show from top to bottom. It's going to be amazing. Tickets are at Bkfc.com, or you can watch them at the Bkfc.com on the BKTV app. But I mean, it's going to be tremendous. June 24th, Friday night at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. I can't wait. I love going there. Every event that we do there just seems to get better and better and better reception. The fans love it. And, it's a fantastic place to do another sellout crowd.
And Dave, you mentioned the Bkfc app. And I just think this is something that is happening now, but it's the future too, that as much as we love the TV channels and the pay-per-views and the cable channels, which are still great, the app situation, the streaming is such a big thing now. And was that just a vision even at the beginning, or has that come on
Absolutely.
in the last years?
Well, it came on as, we were doing pay-per-view events at the beginning, and we were getting like we were trending like #1 on Twitter all over the world, and our numbers on the buys weren't as good as we thought. So we were getting pirated a lot. So they were stealing the stream. So we figured a way to combat it was to actually start our own platform with a very inexpensive price where it's not even worth, it's not worth it for people to steal it, because now they can go inside the app. They can look at everything. They can watch all the library. They can watch all the live pay-per-view events on the app. And it's only $4.99 a month. So, it's less than a cup of coffee at some places, right? So, you get all these great events for that price. And now we control our own destiny, right? Like, we can't blame it on anybody. And if we succeed, we can give ourselves credit, because we're controlling our own destiny right now. We are on a lot of different platforms all around the world. We are seen in 60 different countries now on different platforms all over the world, on their own platforms, not on BKTV, but on on different networks. We're with Disney in Latin America with Star Plus. We're on Fox Deportes in America. We're on all these different channels all over the world, and this sport is just growing, and our popularity is growing. And really, man, I just couldn't be happier, Jim, about the spot we're in and putting on these great fights. And not only putting on these great fights, but giving the fighters more opportunities, right? There was boxing, there was MMA. Now there's bare-knuckle, and it's not just me. There's other guys doing that are giving opportunities to these guys. And it's a great thing that these guys and girls have different opportunities to hone their craft and to make some money.
And with that, a couple more questions. We'll wrap this up. I appreciate your time, as always. And I'm curious, because when you mention that, because the talent that's on your cards is tremendous, whether they're former boxers or current MMA or former MMA stars, people that are in their primes, and they're getting out there and fighting. And it's exciting, because if you blink, you might miss something. That's how fast sometimes the action is. It can be over right away, or it could last a little bit. But it's so much action with the bare-knuckle fighting. And one person in particular who now has done so much already, and now is crossing over to pro wrestling as well, as Paige VanZant. And I'm just curious of your thoughts, because I was reading this, that she will be returning to BKFC on Saturday, July 16th, when you guys go to London and Wembley Arena. So what is it like having her on the roster? And what are your thoughts of her doing AEW pro wrestling now?
I love it. I mean, it brings a whole nother fan base to us, right? I mean, she's tremendous at what she does. She's done a lot of things. You know, some people go, when's she going to win a fight, or when's she going to do this? Here's a girl who gives her all into everything that she does. I truly take my hat off to her because she challenges herself every time. She doesn't need to do these things that she does all the time, and she does it because it's another challenge for her. And, you know, like I said, I take my hat off to her. She's fighting July 16th at the Wembley Arena. She's going to make a return. She's fighting one of our a tough girl that we didn't announce yet, so I can't announce it here. But fighting a tough girl on a roster, it's going to be a great fight. And the fans in the UK really, really love Paige VanZant. So I'm looking at her coming back, you know, stronger, sharper, and better than she was last time, because she really has something to prove to herself now.
And also with that, Dave, do we know if you guys are interested in signing her more, or is it a wait and see type of thing? I mean, you have to get both parties together. I know she's going all in with this pro wrestling with AEW too.
Yeah, she wants to re-sign with us, and we want to re-sign her. You know, it depends what happens on this fight. You know, we can't, you know, keep if she wins, if she looks good, and you know she wants to give it another. If she wins and she looks great and doesn't want to give it another shot, you know, who knows what's going through her mind right now. But I think she did say that she would like to extend her career here, and we'd love for her to extend her career here because she gets a lot of new eyeballs for us, and that's a great thing for us and the sport and for her. So, you know, she's welcome here. And like I said, time will tell. We'll see how this fight goes at the Wembley Arena. I have a feeling that the English fans are going to absolutely love her and love the fight that we're going to bring to them. And I think it's going to be a tremendous card.
And her 2 fights, she gave her all. She really battled out there. It wasn't like she really got beat badly. She did give her all in those 2 fights. I know she wanted to win, but she really did show herself pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, it wasn't like in either one of them that she got her ass kicked, if I could say that. She didn't at all. She was competitive in both of them. Both girls edged her a little bit, but you know, she tried to adjust. She tried to do different things, and she learned from it. The one thing about her, she learns every time, you know, that she goes into the ring or the cage, and she comes out better. So, you know, I expect some good things from her, and you know, we'll see how dedicated she is and how much she really wants this come July 16th. But I expect to see something good from her. I know that she's been training hard for this. I know she has other things on her plate, but I think that's all going to culminate and really help, you know, the viewership and everything that happens for her at Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship in London.
Well, you don't think we'll see Dave Feldman with her in All Elite Wrestling, will we? In her corner? I know Dan Lambert's been there. He's in her corner.
Yeah, he's doing great. And I mean, he transitioned so well. He's like the biggest heel in professional wrestling right now. It's amazing what he did. What a great guy he is. What a really good guy he is. You know what I mean? He does a lot of great things for a lot of people. Take my hat off to that dude. And to transition into someone that I'm sure you met him before, you never would have thought that he would have been the biggest heel in professional wrestling at this point, but he is. And it's awesome, man. It's awesome to see, but you know, you never know.
All right. Lastly, hey, what about involvement from outside as far as any celebrity involvement in bare knuckle fighting? And what type of reaction do you get from entertainers, celebrities? Social media is a big thing too. So I'm just curious, from your standpoint over the years, has there been any celebrity involvement with the promotion?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of celebrities reaching out to us that want to get involved. They want to come to the events. You know, we had a deal in place with Shaq that we're still going to try to push through. We've got so many different celebrities from all different walks of life. Frank Grillo, if you know him from that show on Netflix, he's a huge fan of us. All these guys are becoming fans of it. If they're fight fans, you know, they're going to like this. I mean, it's a true fight fan experience. So, you know, a lot of the different rappers and singers and things like that are reaching out to us. So, yeah, I mean, it's growing. We're getting a lot of different interest in it from all walks of life. And, you know, I just can't wait to see what happens 4 years from now, right? We're 4 years in, and 4 years from now, I think we're in a special place.
And we got, as we said, as we're wrapping this up, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship expansion globally, going to be in Mexico, August 27th. Going to be in London, Wembley Arena, July 16th. You're going to be in the Netherlands. It's amazing. And then obviously here, when we get to coming up, the big events, Hard Rock Live, June 24th, South Florida, getting to see BKFC again. I believe it's going to be the 11th event in South Florida of BKFC, and you're returning to Hard Rock Live for the 3rd time. And you got the champ versus champ matchup, plus other big names in there. You mentioned Britain Hart. What a talent she is. Yuli, of course, Howard Davis, all that. So many things going on, so much expansion. You mentioned more than 40 live events you're expecting for next year with bare knuckle fighting. It's just awesome. And Dave, I just want to give you the floor to wrap this up. If there's anything else you want to add, please do so.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you covered, Jim. Look, the only thing I'm going to say is if you're a combat sports fan and you haven't seen Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, go to the BKTV app, go to search Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship on YouTube and check us out. Because if you like combat sports, you're going to love what we're doing. Come check us out June 24th at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Tickets available at the Hard Rock Casino or at bkfc.com. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate the floor.